So I think my conviction to continue to study economics only got stronger with time.
Right.
So I think my conviction in the beginning of my third year was way stronger than my conviction at the beginning of my second year. So I think it's one of those things where the more I studied it, the more I enjoyed it, and the more confident I got. So the courses I applied to were the M.Sc. in economics course at LSE, obviously at UCL, which is the University College in London, and then the MA economics course in Columbia at Columbia University in New York City. So I think LSE is one of those places that, to me, that was always my dream since I was in ninth grade. At the time, that didn't really have a meaning because I didn't even know what courses they offer, what course I might want to take up. But as a student in ninth grade wanting to study economics, I felt like, yeah, I would love to be able to go to the LSE one day. But when I actually started seriously thinking about it, I started doing some serious research, I think in my fourth semester, about fourth semester of my undergraduation, about where I want to apply, and more importantly, what I need to be doing in order to get a good chance of being in those universities.
Right.
Because obviously, if you want to apply to your university right after your undergraduation, the chances of your admission depend very heavily on what you did during those 3 years.
Absolutely.
Because that's all you're really showing them. So I think I understood my grade requirements, I understood my extracurricular requirements, I understood my research requirements through that period of research. And then I kind of acted accordingly. I realized that I needed to get at least a semi-decent grade during my undergraduation to stand a chance. So I realized I'm going to have to work harder than I had been at the time. So I spent the last 3 semesters working much harder, and my grades rose proportionally as well. But again, that's down to the decision where I realized that I need to look into what these universities specifically want. Another thing I wasn't really doing was focusing on my research, because while it's not mandatory, it does help if you have some kind of research output or when you're applying. Again, I would stress on the fact that it's not mandatory. So in case you haven't done it, it's not a deal breaker.
Right.
So as a consequence of that, I applied to this internship program at the Center for Civil Society at the end of my second year, which was about wherein we worked on this, which was not economics research, it was policy research, which so we focused on major policy areas under the operations of the Delhi government. And so me and 2 other people, we wrote a paper on healthcare in Delhi. And this paper was written within a time frame of about 6 weeks, right to the, how we conceptualize the idea to actually getting primary data through going to hospitals and mohalla clinics, running questionnaires, everything. So that was about 6 weeks, 6 ferocious weeks, really. That was a lot of work, because I think that's the first time any of us was doing serious research and really understanding, going through kind of a peer review process. I think that's where my research output came from. At the end of that, I realized now the only thing, my extracurriculars have always been decent. So the things I focused on were primarily, at least, debating, and there was this society in my college called Enactus, which is the social entrepreneurship organization, for which I was a vice president during my second year. So those were primarily my extracurricular outlets. So I think LSE requires you to have, at least if you're applying from DU, I can specifically say, I'm not sure about other universities, they prefer if you have a CGPA of about 8, at least 8, when you graduate. So I finished above that because I picked up on that fact sooner rather than later. So I applied to all these universities towards the end of my 5th semester, so beginning of my 3rd year, because I need to start at the end of my undergraduation. So obviously I couldn't wait to graduate before I applied.
And by then, how long had it been since you've planned this out? Maybe a year before that?
I had been planning since before my internship at CCS. Right? So really towards the end of the 3rd semester, I had started planning it. Obviously, it wasn't very active planning in that I hadn't really prepared applications or anything. But I'd obviously realized that I am going to be applying. So there were things I needed to take care of, the GRE being one of the more important ones. Again, my research output at the time was a huge matter of concern for me, which obviously got taken care of with the internship. So that was one less thing to worry about. And then the other important thing being my letters of recommendation. So it definitely helps if you know what direction you want to go in, because then you can, I think then you can communicate with the right set of professors. You know who, you talk to more people within the university, you tell them of your aspirations. And I think if you're lucky enough, your professors respond well to you. They tell you about things you need to know about, all the better things that you can do to ensure your application gets stronger. And it also helps you get a better letter of recommendation at the end, right? So those were critical things for me. GRE was, I think I got slightly late, because initially I wanted to have finished my GRE during the summer itself, so at the end of my fourth semester. But that couldn't happen as a result of my internship, which took a lot of time out for me. And I wanted to study well for my GRE, because I realized that the schools I was applying to, I would need a decent score. So I spent the first month of my third year studying intensively for my GRE. And when I say intensively, I mean intensively. It reached the point where I think like I had one of those vocabulary apps on my phone, which like if I was sat on the metro, I would just take out my phone and I would just swipe through words and just tell myself. It became a useless process. If I was doing anything, I did but that's all it was. That's that 1 month. As hard as I could have. And then I took the GRE at the end of it. I couldn't have delayed it much more because I needed to apply in November. So I wanted to be done with it by October at the most. So I got 168 in my quant in the GRE, and I got a 160 in my verbal. So I think it's not the kind of score that that sets the world ablaze, obviously, but it's the kind of score that ensures you don't get eliminated on the basis of your GREs. Right. So at the very least, you have your foot in the door. So I got my GRE done. I finished my applications in November. I applied to LSE, Columbia, UCL, and I'm not sure if those were the three schools that I applied to. So I heard back positively from Columbia and LSE, but not from UCL. Okay. And after that, I heard back around the end of January, and those were conditional offers, obviously, on me, getting the required grade, and the other regular verification things. But the primary condition was get the required grade. So, which again, like at that point, my grade was high enough for me to be confident enough that I won't screw it up from here. But so I think initially, at least, the conundrum then for me was if I should go to Columbia or LSE. But so I think the key thing to note there was that Columbia's program was relatively new. They had only started their MA economics program, I think around, I could be wrong, but it's close to around 2015 or 2016. So it wasn't very reputed or old. Obviously, Columbia is very reputed, but the program not as much. On the other hand, LSE, it kind of had a very good track record of their course, which had been going on for north of 100 years. So at the end of it really was an easy choice. And like I said, it was kind of my dream to always go to the LSE. So at that point, I was quite happy to make that choice. And things worked out, and I graduated, went to the LSE after that.